Hello again, everybody. This is Flaring Flames, AbsoluteFlare, coming back to you guys with another Bidding War League battle. That is week 4 of Season 2. And my opponent for this week is a newcomer to the league, MTNotTall. I'm always happy to get new people, but I have no idea what to expect from him. So without further ado, let's go ahead and look at the Pokemon that he managed to win in his bids. His team consists of Zeraora, Rotom Wash, Ludicolo, Toxapex, Latias, Mimikyu, Sylveon, Bronzong, Kartana, and Pheromosa. So he got not only Latias, but 2 Ultra Beasts, and then the mythical Pokemon Zeraora. So already his team's chock full of Pokemon that are supposed to be pretty hard to deal with, either offensively, defensively, or in some other form. And on top of that, he's got a couple of premier defensive Pokemon in Toxapex and Bronzong. So these are all Pokemon that I'll definitely want to have answers to. And we're going to go ahead and try and figure out with my team what I can do about it. So already I am thinking, okay, what on this team needs to be trapped? Because I do have Gothitelle on my roster. And if there's something that I absolutely do not want to deal with more than once, it's, in my mind, usually a good idea to bring Gothitelle. So the main things that come to my mind when I'm looking for Pokemon that I would want to trap are, can they swap out? And then can Gothitelle beat them? So, a lot of the Pokemon that are on his team can swap around with U-turn or Volt Switch or just outright beat it. So there's not a lot of Pokemon I can have Gothitelle specifically made for. There are 2, however, that it can, and I would very much enjoy to have gone the first turn it comes out. Bronzong and Toxapex. And thankfully, the way to deal with these 2 with Gothitelle would probably be the same way. And it's going to end up being the same Gothitelle as I brought to one of my other matches, where it's going to fake tears them to lower their special defense, and then just hit them with whatever super effective move I can go for. So both Bronzong and Toxapex don't swap out using any moves they got, so they are easy trap fodder whenever they come in. And they don't deal a lot of damage, especially to something like Gothitelle. So, we've got Gothitelle sorted out, and it has its spot on the team, because we'll be able to check both of those defensive behemoths with that. So then, a few other things that I'll really want to watch out for is the Kartana and the Pheromosa. So, Kartana is just a straight, fast physical attacker with decent coverage, but not decent enough that it would be able to break past Tangrowth. And not to mention that Tangrowth can also take on Mimikyu as well, and physical Zeraora. So I think Tangrowth is a good choice to be putting on this team, with emphasis on its defensive capabilities, obviously, and of course Regenerator to go through. So we'll go ahead and throw that on the team. So then next, a lot of this team can be specially focused, or usually is. I've got things like Sylveon, Latias, Rotom Wash, Ludicolo. Zeraora can be mixed, Pheromosa can be mixed. So I should have a decent special defense wall as well for that. So Slowking Galar, I think, is going to be a good choice for that. It can blanket check most of those guys on the special side, especially when paired with an Assault Vest. So the last time I used it, I didn't think I needed the Assault Vest on it. I came later to kind of regret that decision. I didn't lose that match. This was the match against my friend Sethius. But that Heatran of his hit it so hard that I've rethought about it and decided to go for the Assault Vest on it this time and see how that works. So, with that, we've got 3 Pokemon set up. One of the other things that I notice about MTNotTall's team is that a good deal of his team doesn't actually resist Stealth Rocks. I think the only one that does, he only has 2 things that resist it, and that would be Bronzong and Kartana. The rest of them are going to take decent chunk every time they try to swap in. So setting Stealth Rocks would actually be a good idea for me. And I haven't used Duraludon yet in this entire season. So I drafted it, I might as well use it. So we'll go ahead and put Duraludon in. It'll be running the Stealth Rocks, so it's going to be my hazard setter, obviously. But I'm also going to put Dragon Tail on it and kind of force switches around, hopefully. Especially on anything that might try to set up on it, like Latias or Zeraora, Pheromosa. All of them might try to set up on it. Okay, 4 down, 2 more to go. So, one of the other things that I might want is someone to keep in check the physical threats still, because while I do have Tangrowth being a multifaceted check for things, not to mention all the water types he has, I'm going to end up using Tangrowth a lot, so on the off chance that I could lose it, I think I'd better have a backup plan. So I'm thinking that Arcanine would be a decent choice for that. It has Will-O-Wisp, it can be very physically bulky, and it's also got access to its own healing. So we're going to put Arcanine in and see how well that goes. So the last part of my team, so far I've been picking mainly things that are supposed to tank hits. I mean, I do have offensive presence just because of most of these guys' stats, but I don't have anything focused on attacking. So clearly we need to solve that problem. Of the Pokemon that I have, I've only got 2 that would usually be focused on attacking. And that would be Tapu Bulu and Dragapult. However, I don't believe Bulu will add anything to this matchup that I don't already have covered. So I'm thinking I'll go along with Dragapult. And not to mention, Dragapult is a great cleaner when it gets Dragon Dance off, and Dragon Darts breaks sashes. And for all those pesky fairies, I could always use something like Phantom Force, or I could just swap out of it and probably still be safe to come back in and set up later. So there we go with the team. We've got Tangrowth, we've got Slowking, Arcanine, Duraludon, Gothitelle, and Dragapult. The thing that's probably going to be the hardest for me to deal with is going to be the Latias, I think. If that Latias is able to get set up or has a Scarf, it's going to be pretty hard to break because it'll be special, but it is a special type that is not great for Slowking to come in on, precisely. And if it's set up and it's able to tank something from Dragapult, then I've got problems there as well. But I think with some good planning and careful playing around, I don't think I'll have much of a problem with the Latias either. So we'll go ahead and see what this battle has in store for us. Alright, so my opponent has brought Sylveon, Latias, Kartana, Bronzong, Pheromosa, and Mimikyu. Oh boy, that's a team filled with fairy types I don't want to deal with. But that's alright. Slowking's here to help with that, and Arcanine can help as well as Duraludon. So I think we'll be alright with this. And he has 3 ways he can get rid of Stealth Rocks if I set those. But in all honesty, I'm alright with that. So we're actually going to start with Dragapult. And see where this takes us. So at worst, I have to hard swap him out because it's Pheromosa. And at best, I may be able to just do something to get rid of him. So we're starting off with Bronzong. So I'm actually going to go ahead and swap to Gothitelle. We'll be able to trap the Bronzong, swap the Scarf onto it, and proceed to hopefully just take it out. Ooh, it's got Toxic. Well, that's not exactly what I would have liked, but I can honestly deal with that. So let's go ahead and go for Trick. I mean, he can protect here, but that's all he's got. And I'll want Gothitelle for later. Gothitelle being toxic is not great. Now I got leftovers. That's about what I was expecting. Okay. So it's been swapped into... So now it's stuck into that body press, which I'm not happy about, but it also can't do much. So Gothitelle doesn't need to keep it locked up in there anymore. And I can just set up with Dragapult. Because that body press does not help it in the slightest. So we're going to go ahead and Dragon Dance here. And in comes the Sylveon. And I honestly don't mind the Sylveon. We're going to go ahead and U-turn out of this, because that Sylveon is not going to be faster. And we'll be able to get some chip damage on it. Even though it resists Bug, +1 to the attack stat of Dragapult is nothing to sneeze at. Unless this thing's physically defensive. Which is fine by me. Because we see what that's worth. So we're going to go ahead and hit Future Sight here. Because I'm sure the Sylveon's swapping out. Oh boy. So we're setting up with the Sylveon. Good to know. It still really isn't able to hit for very much. And if we manage to poison it, there's the poison. So another Sludge Bomb plus the Future Sight should be able to take it out. Oh, we're going with Heal Bell, huh? But now it takes Future Sight attack plus the Sludge Bomb. And it's not going to be able to recover here at all. That Heal Bell was definitely not something it should have done. It should have done either Wish or something else to heal itself. Because even with all those Calm Minds, it's not going anywhere. Yep, now we got Latias. So the question is what's the Latias going to do now? We'll go ahead and put Duraludon in. Because I want to force this thing out. Alright. So, we're going to go ahead and use Stealth Rocks here. And it'll prevent Sylveon from coming in whenever it'd like. Because that just means it's dead weight. And this is a bulky Duraludon, so I don't expect it to do much. Oop, we're back to Bronzong. So we're going to go ahead and put Dragapult back in. Because here comes the Body Press again. Thanks to the Scarf, we can just swap around on this thing all day long. And I can just keep setting up however much I'd like. Now the main question here is what he's going to swap to this time. Here comes the Sylveon, who falls to Stealth Rocks, and he'll get a swap in of whatever he'd like. So my next guess is probably Mimikyu. Mimikyu or Kartana. If it's anything else, I can probably wreck it. The Kartana is I'm a little iffy on. Yep. Here we go with Bronzong. Alright, we're going to go ahead and use Phantom Force here. He won't be able to hit me with Toxic. And this thing's going to take massive damage. Okay, we're going for Stealth Rocks instead. I'm fine with that. Now the question is what is he going to come in with? Or is he just going to stay in? Honestly, I think his best play here is to sacrifice the Bronzong. It might actually live Phantom Force even at +1. Because if he swaps to anything else, they take a heavy hit, possibly get KO'd, or we'll get KO'd the next turn. And we're getting KO'd the next turn. Okay. So down goes Mimikyu's Disguise. Honestly, I think Mimikyu was the worst thing to swap in. Even if it gets Shadow Sneak off, I'm still able to Phantom Force because I'll live one Shadow Sneak from this thing. Not by much, however, it looks like. And now he has to send something else in to KO this, to take the hit. I honestly probably should have swapped to Tangrowth instead of Phantom Forcing on this thing. But that's alright. Here comes Bronzong, gonna take Stealth Rocks and the Phantom Force to the face. Alright, so if Mimikyu comes back out again, then I know my switch. And if it doesn't, everything else dies. Dragapult is still very useful, so I'd rather avoid doing that. So instead, we will swap in Tangrowth. Take Stealth Rocks, but that's alright. Take all the hits there. And let's see here. And we're going to go ahead and knock off. Because now he's going to swap out, probably to Latias. And we're going to hit it with a nasty knockoff. The one unfortunate thing is that this thing's faster. I honestly should have swapped there, but I can sit here. Actually, no, I really shouldn't. You know what? No, I think I can sit here all day and knock off until we run out of recovers here. Thanks to the poison dealing the extra damage, this Latias is only going to barely get over even. So while it still heals a little bit, we waste all of its recovers. So I can just keep sitting here using knockoff. Oh, we're going for defog. That honestly was not the smartest idea. I still have my Stealth Rocker if I wanted to put him back out to Stealth Rock again. And now that he doesn't have anything with status on it, We're going to go ahead and sleep powder this thing. It'll be faster than me, so that means my next turn is a free switch. Oh boy. That definitely did a decent amount. So judging by the amount that did, I'm not sure. One of the things that I fear about that Pheromosa is it being a choice band. Because that is enough to break Tangrowth if I am not careful. If he doesn't... Oh, here comes the Kartana. So while unfortunate for me, I can send in Arcanine to deal with this thing. And then just not care. Arcanine had heavy-duty boots because I had no intention of clearing hazards for this team. I didn't feel like I needed to, and I felt like Blastoise wasn't going to help me too much here. Alright. So the rest of his team is all appears to be physical, so we're going to hit Will-O-Wisp here, because that's going to cut all of their attacks in half. Here comes Mimikyu again. Ah, but we didn't get it. That's alright. This is my bulky, Phantom Force. I honestly think I'll be better served by Will-O-Wisp here. Because if I can't KO with Flamethrower, which might be a possibility, I can lower its attack stat and heal right in front of it. Or I could try to heal in front of it again. Okay. So we're going to Will-O-Wisp here, and maybe hit with 3rd time's the charm. So now I don't care. Take Arcanine back out, put Tangrowth in. Tangrowth will tank this Phantom Force. KO with Giga Drain. And then we'll be off to the races again. We'll get back some health at least. Oh look, a crit that I didn't need. Ah, this is going to be another battle that goes to the timer though. Here comes Pheromosa again for the damage. But we're not going to give it that satisfaction. Let's see how well we'll see how well Slowking takes this. Oh, it only hit 1 time. Good to know. So we'll just go ahead and Flamethrower this thing. Okay, so I can't utter a sound. That's alright. Down goes Pheromosa. Then Arcanine finishes this, I think. With Intimidate and resistance to both of its stab. And that was a crit. Ow. Alright. Now my main question is this thing sashed? It is not, and we finish this battle right at the end. And with that, that'll be the first 6-0 I've had in any league-style tournaments in recent history. So that turned out to be a really good matchup for me in that regard. I think the best Pokemon that performed overall was probably my Tangrowth, though. It was able to tank a lot of hits for the team, and it was able to dish out damage because of taking those hits, thanks to Rocky Helmet. And I was able to keep it in play due to Regenerator and just carefully swapping things around. So all in all, good match there for me. And then next week, we're up against probably one of the fiercest opponents we have this season, Orizen. This is Orizen's first season with the Bidding War League, but he is someone I have battled a few times before, and he is definitely one of the top tier trainers. And he has a top tier team to match it, so it will certainly be an interesting match next week, which I hope you all will watch the video for. So you all have a good night.